This presentation will show you how to add your 23andMe DNA match data to your DNA Penta profile. First, some general guidelines. You want to start with closely related known cousins. That's because you'll know if the match is paternal or maternal to start off with in your profile. You can use your pedigree tree from DNA Painter to find the most recent common ancestor or the most recent common ancestor couple for your known match. And then you can use the shared matches to this known cousin that are on 23andMe to add more people to your profile. A few more guidelines. If your parents or full siblings have tested, you do not want to add them to your profile. You know that all your maternal DNA had to come from your mother, and so adding her to your profile doesn't do anything to help you. You can, however, use your parents or half-siblings to help you identify which side of the family a match is on. For example, if both you and your mother match an unknown person, you at least know that that person has to be maternal because it matches your mother also. Whereas if you have a match and your mother does not, then that match would have to be paternal. If you have a half-sibling who shares a common father with you, then any person that matched both you and your half-sibling would have to be paternal. The larger the total centimorgans, the closer the match is going to be, the closer the relationship. So second cousin, third cousin, things like that. If the centimorgans gets too small, they can be at a very distant relationship and possibly not even in the genealogical time frame to be able to help you identify who the common ancestor is. In any case, you don't want to use values that are less than 7 centimorgans. Even at 7, there's about a 50% chance that the match could be false. So looking at 23andMe, I logged into my account, and now I'm going to go and view all of my DNA relatives. Here's the list. At the top of the list is Tricia Harris Anthony, who is my known second cousin. She has given me permission to use her name, and so that's her real name. All of the other names have either been blocked out or fake names have been given to the matches. Now, I know Trish is my second cousin. I'm going to look at my pedigree, and she's on my dad's mother's side, the Burns side of the family. So I know that she's a paternal match, and our common ancestor are Thomas Burns and Bridget Mary Fenton. Going back to 23andMe, I'm going to look at the advanced DNA comparison. That gives me the opportunity to add up to 7 matches. And once I start typing in a match name, anyone with that part of the name will show up in the list. And so here's Trish. I'm going to select her, and then I'm going to compare with her, which brings up the chromosome browser. So here's the 23andMe chromosome browser. It says that we share a total of 402 centimorgans across 19 segments. Now this only shows part of the chromosome browser. I can't fit it all on the slide and have you still be able to read the slide. If I scroll to the bottom of the screen, I get a table that shows the chromosome number, the start, the end, and how many centimorgans we share on that particular segment. So if I copy this table and then go over to my DNA Painter profile, and now I'm going to select Paint a New Match. When I do that, I get a box like this that comes up, and I can paste all that data I just copied into the box. So here we have some of the data showing. Because it's a known match, I'm going to hit the Save Match Now button. If this was an unknown match that I was painting, that perhaps someone that shared data with Trish and me, I would use the preview these segments first to see exactly what's going on. When I click the Save the Match button, up comes this diagram. I know how we're connected, so I'm going to leave the red box checked. I put in Trisha's name, I put in a group name, and I'm going to use our common great-grandparents, Thomas Burns and Bridget Fenton, for the name of the group. It's my paternal side, so I'll select that, and the color that DNA Painter is suggesting is red. This little arrow next to the color, if I clicked on that, I would get a box that would allow me to change the color to whatever I wanted, but I'm going to leave it at red. So I scroll down the page and save, and then here's my profile now that I've painted the data that Trish and I share on my paternal chromosome. Over here in the lower right hand corner, we have the group name, Thomas Burns and Bridget Fenton. And this is where the group names show up, and it will give you a list of a key that shows all the different groups that you have. Going back to 23andMe, we want to look at the relatives that Trish and I share in common. And there's several things here that I want to point out. It tells me that Joe, for example, is a fourth cousin to me and a fifth cousin to Trish. And it gives us the information about how much each of us, how we're related to each person on the list. And it also tells us something about our shared DNA. So if we look at that, it says yes for Joe. And what that means is that Joe, Trish, and I all match on the same segment of the same chromosome. That tells me that we have a common ancestor. And it's often called triangulation, because triangle, three people, Joe, Trish, and me. And we all have the same segment of the same chromosome. Looking at Lucy, it says no. Lucy, Trish, and I all match each other, but it's not on the same segment of the same chromosome. We're cousins, and we might have a common ancestor, but I can't tell that from just looking at this data. And then I go on to Tom, and Tom, it says share to see. And what that tells me is that Tom has not chosen to share his DNA results. From him being in this list, I can tell that he matches both Trish and me, and that he's my fourth cousin and her fifth cousin. But that's about all I can tell. So if I really want to find out, then I can send Tom a message over 23andMe and ask him if he would please share his DNA results with me. So this has just been a simple introduction. If you want to find more detailed information about using DNA Painter and painting your matches, you can find that at the DNA Painter help page, where there are frequently asked questions as well as explanations of all the various things, glossary, and several webinars that have been recorded on DNA Painter are also there. Another useful place to check would be to join the DNA Painter user group on Facebook. So what we have covered in summary is how to copy a known match from 23andMe and paste it into your DNA Painter profile. And we've also looked at how to interpret the shared DNA column that you see in the list of shared matches with your cousins. Thank you for your attention. I hope this has been helpful for you. If you'd like to contact me, my website is patriciacolemangenealogy.com, or you can find me on Facebook. I'm a moderator for both DNA Painter user group and the Genetic Affairs user group.